Welcome back, everybody. This is B Belt Dan, and we are in Blender working on the Enterprise J. Currently, right now, in case y'all are wondering, I'm just going through and I'm trying to clean up some mesh issues, some edge issues that I have seen while working on this. If you remember the last episode, we had to redo the pylons, or that might have been 2 episodes ago, but I had to redo those. And in doing so, the edges really didn't quite add up. The mesh isn't quite looking as smooth as I'm wanting it. I mean, as you can see here, there's like an unnecessary dip here. So I'm just kind of going through and fixing each one of these little by little, trying to straighten it out. But that's primarily not what we're going to be working on today or even looking at. I am not going to be actually be doing a whole lot of work due to an injury that I received on my left hand, which is the hand that I usually use to do a lot of the keyboard shortcuts. And in Blender, there's a lot of, you know, you got to do hold shift, control, and stuff to reach a lot of those shortcuts. Um, so if you see where, if it looks like that I'm starting to kind of, you know, push a bunch of buttons at random, that is because I got like tons of gauze and bandages all wrapped up on that hand. So, oh, my phone is going off. Let me put that on mute real quick. All right. But yeah, that's just because I got tons of bandages, which is kind of affecting on how well I can, use this hand in blendering. So it's kind of put me a bit on hold. I'm able to do a few things, but I end up making tons of mistakes, and I don't want to necessarily put y'all through that and let y'all watch me make, all these mistakes after mistakes after mistakes because I keep my right now, currently fat fingers keep pushing the wrong buttons on the keyboard. But we are going to be taking a look at something because there has been a bit of development within the Enterprise J world. As you know, we've usually have been only using this one particular image. I mean, there are other images, but they're not very good. But this particular image to try to design the Enterprise J. But thanks to a user, a poster on a web forum that I frequent a lot, Sci-Fi Meshes, it was brought to my attention that Doug Drexler on actually did end up releasing orthographic images of the Enterprise J. And I went ahead and took a look at those, and they were on his Facebook page. He has an entire gallery on his Facebook page, Doug Drexler's Facebook page, that all dedicated to the Enterprise J. And I went ahead and took a look at those. We're going to actually take a look at them today and actually compare them to the model. And I'm going to talk to you all about how we're going to go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and jump into a different program to show you those images, and I will be right back. Okay, I apologize for the sudden shrinking of the resolution here, but some reason my recording software doesn't record all of Photoshop's. It only lets me record individual windows. So I'll work on that, but just to kind of move along, I have loaded up here. This is the top image of of Doug Drexler's version of the Enterprise J, or, not his version, but it is the Enterprise J. And I have an overlay. It's a half and half overlay of my ship. And I'm going to bring that into focus. Now, I did have to stretch mine out, and once we get back into Blender, I'll show that to you. But as you can see, zooming in right here, you can see I wasn't actually too far off. I'm actually kind of surprised with some of the details that I managed to actually get right. I mean, this right here looks pretty close. Go ahead and filter that out just a little bit. This is right here is this contour here follows along pretty closely to what Doug Drexler. I am a bit off on this front portion here. Needs to sweep out just a little bit more, and the saucer section needs to be adjusted a little bit more. As far as the saucer section is concerned, the details on the saucer section, I mean, yeah, those need to be stretched out, but they're not too far off. Now, I do have these little details, they are off. I mean, they're supposed to be back here and they're way up front, so don't know what to explain with that. But as we go back here, we can see that, that's, I mean, this back portion here, I mean, it's almost dead on. This portion needs to be moved up a little bit more, but this little area, little detail here is almost dead on. And even the wings, um, let me go into, oops, nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I've had to do it this way. Even the pylons are pretty close, as you can see here. So I'm not too far off. I'm actually pretty, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's almost dead on with in relation to where the nacelles are at and the pylons are at and the details and everything. So I'm pretty happy with the way that that's turning out. Now, once again, I had to stretch this out to actually fit because I was much, much shorter. And once again, we'll see once we get back into Blender here. But yeah, I'm not too far off, so I'm actually very happy with the way that this is turning out. And using this upper portion, this upper image here to try to model this over, I mean, I'm going to get a lot closer, and I know I'm going to have to go in and change the angle of the camera, because part of the reason about why I might be off a little bit on some of these details is strictly because the camera has not been matched perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and also switch over to the front view. We'll take a look at that. All right, and here we are in the front view. Now this one here, I mean, for the most part, once again, I am pretty close to, to matching it up. I mean, the nacelles are a little bit lower than necessary. I mean, maybe the whole model might be just a little bit lower than what it should be, but I can definitely fix that. I am a bit off on the deflector dish. It needs to be a little bit lower. And you can actually see once we zoom in here the relation to his little under portion of the hull as opposed to my undersling portion of the secondary hull. Actually, now I can zoomed in, you can almost see it's kind of almost, you know, like it's a little double loop type, not double loop, but double bulge, similar to the top, while mine is just a single bulge. But of course, I also have other little details such as this little, sensor dome area that's going to be underneath the primary hull. So yeah. Either way, though, from by using these images, I can definitely try to get this ship to be, I mean, look a lot better. I mean, the textures you can definitely see here were rushed and they were stretched across the entire hull, and it's not very detailed. But that's one of the things why I'm wanting to work on this, is to try to come up with a more detailed, more not realistic, I don't know if I can get it real realistic looking, but a lot more detailed, a lot better textured version of the Enterprise J that matches more closely to what we see actually on the show. So I'm going to go ahead and go back up into Blender, and we're going to go ahead and import these images as in the background images of certain, and tie those into camera views so we can start working on making my model match more along lines of what his model is. So I'll be back. And here we are back in Blender. I went ahead and applied in, or imported in, the additional views. There's a front view and a top view, and assigned them to their appropriate views. So if I was to go over here and look at it from the top, you can see the actual, Doug Drexler's Enterprise J model compared to my Enterprise J model. And you can see what I meant by it was kind of squashed. If we go into front view, you can see that we're close but no cigar. There might be a bit of a scaling issue with the image itself on this one, but this one I think I did shrink it down. Yes, I shrunk it down just a little bit. This one I could shrink down just to 9.7 seems to be the right scaling ish or scaling. But yeah, we take a look at this. Let's look just a little bit closer. As you can see, it's much too squashed, and that's probably because I might have had the angle wrong on the camera. I think I mentioned in the first episode. I mean, it's not an exact science. I can get close, which I did get pretty close, but not close enough to try to get that to where that camera matches, or the Blender camera matches directly the same camera that Doug Drexler used to get that, to get this shot here, or I'm sorry, to get this shot over here. Wasn't direct science, but it was pretty darn close, and it got me pretty close. So what I'm going to be doing now over the next few days is I'm going to go ahead and take this model and stretch it back out using the top view and the front views as reference to try to get my model to fit as close as I can to this model as much as possible. So, and from that, then I'll go ahead and adjust the camera to try to make it to where it'll match that angle accordingly as well. I mean, as you remember from the other picture that I just showed you from the top view, where half of it was mine, half of it was Doug Drexler's, I'm not too far off. I mean, just a couple of small little addition or changes and details I need to make on my model. But there's also going to be some changes I'm going to be making on my model just strictly for the sake of wanting to add more details into a model, a ship that wasn't, for it being ship of the week, it probably didn't have a lot of details put into the model to begin with. You know, um, some of those little details I'm going to put on will be like RCS thrusters on the hull, like you see on the Enterprise D and even the Enterprise E. There's little, the thrusters that move the ship around are on the hull. Um, Other details such as the transport emitters and sensor details along the rims, little stuff like that, hull plate details and stuff. Well, hull plate details only within the line um, of what we see inside the picture, and trying to keep it to where the ship was grown and not necessarily made. So that was pretty much about it. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at these photos, just go ahead and find Doug Drexler's Facebook page, and if you look around, you can find an image gallery on there where he does have a lot of pictures of the Enterprise J, even a couple of uh, preliminary drawings and throwaway designs that he probably had that might offer a little bit of insight about where he was wanting to go with this. And once again, I've also just want to mention that I'm going to be trying to match the top and the sides, but the bottom is going to be something entirely different, because this right here, the top portion, once again, it's just that's using this picture for reference. It was Canon. It was showed up in, um, it was somewhat used for the Lacars imagery that we see in the episode, and it was used in the Ships of the Line calendar. And but the bottom view was not seen in the Lacars or in the Ship of the Line calendar, but it was a different looking underside was seen on the episode of Azadi Prime. So we're going to be going with that. I'm going to go ahead and call the episode quits right now, because I just want to go ahead and show y'all all of that. And if y'all are following along and y'all want to download those references as well, well, I say download, I mean, but if you want to take a look at those images to use, go ahead and like I said, check it out online, Doug Drexler's Facebook page. I was kind of surprised, and I just want to also thank the the forum user that went ahead and pointed that out to me. I apologize if you are one of my viewers. I forgot your name, but I'll definitely give you credit in the next episode. So this is B-Belt Dan. This is Blender and the Enterprise J. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.